death heads and violators. Welcome to the Deth-N-Vengeance show. I'm your host, Jonny Death. With me always, Majin Drew, and the very, very evil Gein. Deth-N-Vengeance show, coming at ya.
Hola, mushi mushi, death heads and violators. Welcome to Deth-N-Vengeance. Once again, it's me, Jonny Death, and
Gein.
we're here without our partner. Like I said, due to scheduling issues.
Majin Drew got stuck down a toilet, so he couldn't be here today.
In the shitter.
This one goes out to him.
The crapper napper himself. We love you, Majin Drew, and we wish you were here. Unfortunately, you're not. So that means now Eddie's the best looking guy on the show. So, one thing we wanted to talk about was the passing of a legend in the nerd world, in the not only the nerd world but the comic book world, the Marvel universe. And of course, you know where I'm going with this. Stan Lee passed away recently. I believe he was 95 years young when he died. And honestly, I'm kind of torn about it. I mean, he lived a long life. He was in his mid 90s. I mean, damn near 100. He accomplished a lot of things in his life. He's the product of perseverance. When he first started, he worked in, before he became Marvel, he worked there as in like the mail room, and then eventually, he would kind of like go in and like slip, things under the door, and eventually they're like, hey, well, let's give this little skinny kid from where, a shot, and then next thing you know, he starts writing with legendary artist Jack Kirby. They did a lot of the original like X-Men, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Hulk, the Incredible Hulk. Jack Kirby is probably one of my favorite comic book artists. And also my dad, when I was little, he got me into comic books, and he, because, of course, I grew up in the 80s. So, back in the 60s and 70s when it came out, I wasn't alive, but, he would tell me, oh, man, I remember this and that. And, my Uncle Joe, his brother had a big comic book collection and stuff. And so I remember my dad giving me like the first issue of Deadpool because he was at a fucking 7-Eleven. He saw it and he's like, oh, that looks pretty cool. I think John will like that. So, things like that. So he was always, doing cool things like that. And so, and he would tell me about, we would look at like, old school books. And we even had this one book. It was like an encyclopedia of like, like all like the Marvel characters, and it kind of went back into their history. And he was like, "Oh, Jack Kirby," and then when I started collecting comic books as a kid, I started finding like old comic books like at flea markets and shit like that, and I started getting into the whole Jack Kirby art because he just had a style that defined an era, the silver and bronze ages of comic. I think he even did stuff in the 80s too as well. So I mean, that's fucking badass and stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of conflicted, to be honest, Eduardo, Eddie.
Why?
Because I mean, I'm sad because Stan Lee's dead, but I'm also happy because all the shit that I have that's Stan Lee related is going up in value. Hang on. There's a bidding war on eBay right now for my Stan Lee shit. Excuse me. Yes, that is $1 million. No, but yeah,
he's got a lock of Stanley's pubic hair.
Yes, don't ask me how I got it, but I got a lock of his hair. It's braided with on the both ends. It has two little beads on it. If you want to know, one's Iron Man, one's Hulk, and I also have a vial of his blood. Don't ask me how I got that either. I know a chick that knows somebody that works at the doctor's office where he goes, and so she stuck me out a vial of blood. And also I have a vial of some sticky substance that has DNA. I'm not going to go any further on that, but let's just say I can make many Stan Lee clones.
No, but in all seriousness, we just want to take this time to remember Stan Lee, one of the greats. He's going to be missed. Probably Marvel's not gonna be the same without him. Definitely won't see any cameos. Well, I think they said that
there'll be CGI cameos.
They said that all the newest stuff like Captain Marvel and stuff like that, they're gonna have the cameos, but they're probably gonna have like a little like in memorial, like in the beginning or whatever.
Or they might have, if they don't do like CGI, where they put them in somewhere, they might do like maybe like some people wear a shirt that says Stan Lee lives or I love Stan, something like that, where it's like,
you pick up a newspaper and like he's like in the obituary.
Yeah, or the headline will say Stan Lee, conquers the world or some shit like that, whatever, and it's like, oh look, Easter egg.
You know what would kind of be cool, like if they're like like in the Avengers 4, like the new one, the final one apparently. If Stan Lee has like a big role in it or something. That'd be kind of cool. Where it's like, oh yeah, he's like, because I don't know if you've seen that clip where he's like an informant for the Watchers.
Yeah.
Big-headed alien dudes.
Yeah.
I don't know, like if they're like, oh yeah, he's the one that saves the universe or whatever.
Fucking Stanley.
Yeah, that'd be like really badass if like they did that. I don't know.
I like to do impressions of people like celebrities, and Stanley's one of those ones that I can never quite do because he has that funny voice where he talks like this in the Fantastic Four, and stuff like that. And that's about as close as I can get. But I've always tried to do his voice. I've tried to imitate him as best as possible. But I can never do a Spider-Man. The way he talks. I just thought it was so cool. I love hearing him talk. When he explains stuff, and especially when he would explain like stuff that he did, like comic books or like
how he came up with like the ideas.
Yeah, just to hear him explain it, like I was sitting in the office and in Michigan and
I was taking a big dump. And
yeah,
I know where I saw a spider.
Yeah, I saw a spider climbing on the wall, and I thought, what if a man had these abilities? And I wrote it a couple things. I gave it to and stuff and the Incredible Hulk, to have superpowers, and whatever, and just just to hear him explain it was so cool, and it's gonna be missed. The nerd world, nerds around the world felt that it was like that part in Star Wars when the Death Star destroys that planet of Alderaan, and then like Ben Kenobi's like he like falls down, and like, Ben, you okay? And he goes, I just felt like a great disturbance, like billions of lives just all cried out and then died, whatever. That's like all the nerds around the world that saw that on whatever social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, was all like,
See, when I first heard about it, I thought it was just like a bunch of bullshit, like people that's like trolling or whatever. Because I think they've done that before, where like, oh yeah, Stanley's passed away or something, and like Stanley tweets out, no, I'm doing fine.
I'm still alive,
Yeah.
Yeah, at first I was like, oh shit, but then I started seeing more and more of it, and I was like, because I've seen some of those where they say, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson died, or John Cena's died. Who else? Fucking everybody's died at some point,
Yeah. But I don't think anybody really believed it at first. They were like, what? Really? And then they found out, oh yeah, he's 95. He had been battling all these diseases, like, in his life, and like pneumonia and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing him recently, like in some videos, like where he would go to like Comic Cons or something like that, and like the premieres of these Marvel movies, and just seeing him getting around, like barely getting around. I was like, oh man, it's any time now, and but I'm glad he had a long life. I mean, he's 95 years on this planet. That's pretty damn good. You know what I mean? So I mean,
he must have got a lot of penetration.
Bada boom, bada bing. Yeah, I mean, shit. If I had the opportunity, I'd bang Stan. just so I could say, I did it. I'm famous. Catch me outside. How about that? But no, on a serious note, he is gonna be missed. I mean, just the contributions alone of what he, I mean, every key Marvel character that has made billions of dollars in the box office, or with toys, or with bed sheets or anything, toothbrushes, like Spider-Man, X-Men, all this stuff. I mean, he's left us with a lot of stuff, you know what I mean, a big legacy that's, you know, going to continue long after he's dead, you know what I mean. There's always going to be X-Men movies, Spider-Man movies, Spider-Man cartoons, animated films, you know, Avengers, you know, it's kind of coming to an end, but then you know, there's always, you know, those, you know, oh, number 4 is the last one of the Avengers, whatever, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh, they're back again, you know, battling whatever and stuff, and so it's, you know,
it kind of leads us into the next topic. Stan Lee, of course, a big nerd icon, left us with a bunch of collectibles.
Yes. My collection spans the gamut of, I collect a little bit of everything. Some call me a hoarder, some call me a nerd. I'm a little bit of both. But I only collect good shit. That's the difference between me and a hoarder. You know, hoarder, they'll collect
like bottle caps and
bottle caps and empty packages of ketchup. Why do you have 200 packages of ketchup that have already been used? Well, I might need them later. I was gonna make a collage with them, so I kept them, you know, and shit like that. But no, I mean, just look at. I mean, you can't really tell from this angle, but I mean,
probably include pictures or something.
Yeah, I mean, it goes from movies, or well, directly behind me, it's all movie posters. You know, obviously, I love horror movies, so I mean, that's all you can see. I mean, there's Exorcist, there's European posters of Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, things like that. Action figures, and you gotta understand, I've been collecting for a long time. It's nothing like I just started recently. I mean, I was a little kid, you know, and you gotta realize, think about when you're like 10 years old, 9 years old, you know, and you got a toy, you know, and you wanted it so bad, you either bought it with your allowance or you begged your parents, give me this, please, please. And then you get it, and it's like, I can't open it. It's like, why? Because in like 30 years, this is going to be worth $50, you know? And honestly, I think what made it easier for me, I started putting them up on my wall, the toys like in packages, and then it kind of became like almost like posters, like art, you know, but almost like 3D in a way. A little bit of everything, like I said. I mean, comic books was a big avenue for me, but also like films. I mean, I have film props, you know, up the wazoo. You know, I've got posters. I mean, you name it. You know, it's a passion. You know, it's a so bad I've had to get a storage unit, put like piles of stuff in there, and you know, my whole goal one day was to pass it down to a generation, like a son, a daughter, or somebody like that, and you know, just be like, hey, I bequeath to you an empire, you know, like, and now this junk is yours. You can make the payments to the storage unit every month. It's a No, but yeah, and that, you know, it's, and of course Stan Lee, you know what I mean? I have you know, I mean, just off the top of my head, I got some film pieces from the 2002 Spider-Man movie. I mean, I've got, you know, autograph things up the wazoo. You know, I mean, just a lot of cool stuff, you know. And Eddie over here starting his collection.
Yeah, I just started mine just because, like, I was like, why not, like, buy shit that I've always wanted. I have a couple of like Overwatch stuff. I got some anime posters. I've got a couple of Gundams. I know I went the other day to Hobbytown. Shout out, maybe sponsor.
Won't you take me to Hobbytown?
I don't know. We went by there and we saw a bunch of cool shit. So we're probably gonna go again, maybe.
I was looking at all the novelty shit, like the fake dog poop and shit like that, and the Rubik's Cube lamps and shit. And,
yeah, but they had a bunch of cool shit right there. Like, I'm starting my Gundam collection. I don't know how big it's gonna get, but I'll probably post pictures and stuff or whatnot.
Go by Gundam style.
Yeah, so that's a thing. I got some Power Rangers. I was gonna complete the set, but they're kind of hard to find. I have to go on eBay or whatever.
You can ask Santa Claus. Yeah, so I mean, it's one of those things that's pretty cool. One of these days, I might have to do a video, just get a handheld camera and just go to my storage unit and be like, go through all my shit and be like, And as far as comic books, yeah, it's in like the several thousand, like 9, 10,000. I mean, a lot of complete sets. I have the complete sets of like Spawn and a couple other things. Just things that I love. You know what I mean? Try to keep them as mint condition. I have a lot of comic books from the '60s, some from the '50s and stuff. Just a little bit of everything. Like I said, movie memorabilia, movie action figures, small, large. I have a manga imported, Edward Scissorhands. That's a lot of people like. A lot of Resident Evil stuff, obviously, because that's yeah, just a little bit of everything, man. It's pretty cool if um
You have any interesting stories like about like stuff you've collected or like anything like that, like flea markets or anything?
oh, flea markets. Oh yeah. I found a lot of you can find a lot of cool shit at the flea markets. I found a from the $6 Million Man show from way back in the '70s. It's the one of Andre the Giant where he plays Sasquatch. For $10, it's valued at $1,500. So I mean, shit like that. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool to find. I've found comic books that are really rare that I got for 50 cents or a quarter, and they're worth $100, $200. Here and there. I have some old X-Men comic books from like the early '60s. One of them I have is last time I checked was like $3,000. So I mean, you luck out. You know what I mean? But it's one of those things you got to go and you got to put in the time and go look and and spend time looking through stuff. And then also it kind of helps if you have after a while you kind of develop almost an ear or an eye for it. You know what I mean? Where you see stuff and you kind of say, hey, I kind of know what that's worth, or hey, I remember there's
something about
and so stuff starts after a while. Shit starts to stick out to you when you're looking. And you're like, oh, you can look in a whole pile of toys. And I can pick out, this one's $20, this one's $30, this one's $10, this one's, this is really rare. This is actually,
picking out the gold turd in a
picking out the gold out of a turd, and after a while you kind of get like like I have first issues of Deadpool, that recently, I mean, for years they were like $3, $2, and all of a sudden movie comes out and it's all like, oh, I want that, and people are like, clamoring to get it, mint condition copies. And like I have the first issue of The Walking Dead that, I think that's like a $1,200 comic book on its own. Things like that, what I mean? It's just, and it's one of those things like it's investment and it's a gamble at the same time, because it's hard to tell, like when when I was a kid and I had Star Wars action figures or He-Man, I would never have thought that shit when I'm in my 30s. Yeah, when I'm in my 30s, these are gonna be worth $500 for this, or $2,000 still in the box, and stuff like that. And it's like,
It's like the same with me. Like I would go to the flea markets and I would like buy like some little crappy toy. Turns out it's like some like really rare toy. Like well, I never thought about keeping them. Like I remember like one time I got like a Digimon toy. It's a Black War Greymon like action figure that transforms or whatever. Apparently that one's worth a good amount of money. But I never thought of keeping that stuff. Like I left it in the attic or something, and it got lost or something. Same thing with like video games. I remember I had bought the Clay Fighters, like the 63 and 1/4 or something, like the director's the sculptor's cut or whatever.
Yeah,
I had that one, and that one's worth a pretty good amount too.
I got that.
Stuff like that. Like you never really thought about keeping that stuff whenever you were a kid. You never thought, oh, maybe this is actually worth something.
Yeah. Like I said, it's an investment. I see stuff that's really cool, and like Resident Evil stuff. I was like, hey, like I like it. You know what I mean? It's I've kept a lot of stuff that now it's worth a little bit of money more than what I paid for it, and stuff like that. But then there's some stuff you get that
you just buy it because it looks cool.
Yeah, and then sometimes you get it and you wait a couple years and like it fizzles out and it's like, oh well, now it's worthless. You know what I mean? That kind of happened with baseball cards. I never really was a big baseball fan, but in the late '90s, when the whole Mark McGwire and all that shit, I started like buying baseball cards, vintage ones, from like the '80s and other stuff, and I have a lot of like rookie cards and at the time I was, because people I guess weren't really thinking about it, but I kind of like would say, hey, I remember this unsealed box of Topps fucking playing cards from the baseball cards from like '85 whatever at this comic book store or whatever, and I would research them and buy them. And I started getting all these rookie cards, Mark McGwire rookies, King Griffey Jr. rookies. I'm like, oh yes, all happy. And then like 10 years later, the market just dried up and everybody was like, fuck Mark McGwire, fuck, Barry Bonds, fuck all these people, and I was like, shit, like the cards that were, oh, that's a $3,000 card, that's a, $800 card. It's like, I gave you $3 for it. And it's like, fuck, so, it's one of those,
At the end of the day, though, like if it's like something you like, yeah, why not spend a little bit of money and make your room look cool or something? I don't know.
I mean, it's a fun hobby. I mean,
Yeah.
It's like I tell people, people don't give me shit about it, but I'm like, I go, it's a harmless hobby. You know what I mean? I go, it's better than, spending my money on crack and cocaine and shit, whatever. I'm like, I buy video games, action figures. I used to call myself the video game humanitarian because no matter where I was, about a pawn shop, thrift store, I would see like a Nintendo. Like, I literally have a stack of Nintendos, like Sega Genesis, anything. I would see, oh, I got this PlayStation. I don't want to hear, $5, take it off my hands. I'd buy it, and stuff. And, old Ataris, and stuff. And just, Neo Geo shit that you never really heard about, or oh man, I always wanted one of those but never really got one, and things like that. And just it's a passion. What can I say? I haven't really collected that much the past few years just because frankly I'm running out of places to put all this shit. Like literally behind, you can't see it from here, but behind my TV there's a 4-foot fucking Darth Vader that's about 4.5 feet tall and stuff. So, but it's a labor of love. I really suggest, if there's something you're into, I mean, shit, collect it. You know what I mean? It's, if it doesn't become worth anything in 10 years, fuck it. I mean, you still got something cool, and, so yeah. I'd like to take an opportunity to mention something. Probably sometime next year, I don't know when, I'm gonna be working on a book. It's gonna be a collection of like stories and poems and some art that I have. I'm not sure what I'm gonna call it or when exactly I'm gonna be able to get it out. I'm still kind of like saving the money to kind of get all the shit situated. I've literally got thousands of like poems and shit written down, so I just got to figure out which ones I'm gonna use, which ones are actually so. If anything, if y'all want to tune into our Facebook channel or any of the other ones, like the Johnny on my Johnny Death Facebook page, I'm gonna be posting poems and stuff, so you can So please, if you see something, a poem of mine, just maybe give me some feedback. Do you like it? Do you not like it? If you do like it, what parts do you like? If you don't like it, what parts don't you like? This way, I can kind of get an idea of which ones to put in the book. And so I'm even thinking about having a little contest. So if the more people that send us likes and send us comments, you get yourself a free copy.
As long as you live within the United States.
Yeah, as long as you live within.
Shipping is kind of.
Yeah, I ain't spending $50 to ship it to fucking. I don't know.
Maybe any Korean viewers, any Japanese viewers, you can hit me up.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure what the title's gonna be called, but it's gonna be one of those collection of my work, and like I said, I'm not sure when I'm gonna get it out. I'm trying to get get all that sorted out. So hopefully sometime next year we'll keep you updated as far as that. But yeah, oh, did you hear about? Did you watch SmackDown this past Tuesday?
Yeah, well, I didn't watch it, but I heard like all like the rumors and stuff were going around, or
For all you wrestling
all
geeks,
the clips.
for all you wrestling fans out there, Daniel Bryan beat AJ Styles for the WWE World Title.
I didn't think that was gonna happen. Like when I saw the match, because I went back and then saw the match. When I heard about the news, I was like, "What?" Like, I guess how it goes, it's that AJ Styles was like in the ring doing a promo or whatever, and he's like, I guess he mentions Daniel Bryan's name or something like that. He's like, "Oh, Daniel Bryan, like I beat him, I made him tap out or whatever." Like I guess he's arguing with Paul Heyman about like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, like Daniel Bryan's like he's the best in the world or whatever like that, and AJ's like, oh yeah, I know he's a good wrestler, but I made him tap out or whatever. And then Daniel Bryan comes in, he's like, oh, if you mention my name again, I'm gonna punch you in the face. It's like AJ's like, wait, you mean I can't tell people that Daniel's one of the best in-ring competitors or whatever, and then Daniel Bryan punches him, and like they have a big pull-apart brawl or whatever. But yeah, that's how it starts off, and then the match has AJ versus Daniel Bryan, kind of like the same spots they did last time, and then it turns into AJ bumps the ref by accident, and then Daniel Bryan, he has a heel turn and kicks AJ Styles in the nuts.
He pulls a page out of Shinsuke Nakamura and kicking the nuts.
Dang, AJ Styles' balls have suffered a good amount this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, Daniel Bryan kicks AJ Styles in the nuts, and then
I think one of his nuts is actually hiding, like the Hulk was hiding inside of Bruce Banner. I don't want to. Hulk don't want to come out.
Pins him for the 1, 2, 3, and like everybody's like, what just happened?
It was a WTF moment.
Kind of like when AJ Styles won the championship the first time against Dean Ambrose. Pretty much the same way. Like he bumps a ref. I think he also kicked him in the nuts, kicked Dean in the nuts, and then did the Styles Clash on him and won the championship. Nobody.
What if Daniel Bryan becomes a Paul Heyman guy?
I'd like to see that.
I would too. You know,
that'd be interesting.
You know, my name is Paul Heyman, and my client Daniel Bryan. You know, the world heavyweight champion. You know, whatever.
They're both good on the mic, and then Daniel Bryan has like the skills to back it up. Like, yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
that was really cool. So yeah, so that means for those of you who are keeping score, that at Survivor Series, which comes out next week, it's going to be Brock Lesnar, who's the Universal Champion. Well, basically, if you don't know, it's the Raw Heavyweight Champion, and then the SmackDown champion is the World Heavyweight WWE World Heavyweight Champion, which is Daniel Bryan. So they're going to wrestle each other for the first time at Survivor Series, and I'm excited about that match because one that's never been seen before. I think Daniel Bryan came up in the developmental with or something like that, or he
in Indies,
yeah, and stuff, and so like, you know, just to see how that's gonna play out. You know, I mean, Brock Lesnar is this, you know, big ass force that's ran through John Cena. Fucking, he beat Braun Strowman, the monster among men, in like 3 minutes or less. This past
4 minutes, I think.
4 minutes or something like that. You know.
I don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
He gave Roman Reigns so many F5s that he gave him leukemia.
Damn, that's too soon.
Too soon.
Yeah, but I think it's gonna be interesting. It'll probably play out like AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar did last year. How they had a good back and forth. Like the first half was like AJ kind of taking it to Brock Lesnar. Then Brock Lesnar kind of dominates like through the whole middle part. Then AJ like he gets back and like it looks like he's about to make him tap out or whatever. I think it's probably going to go the same way. If not,
I know I think it's gonna happen. Honestly, like I'm making a prediction now. So if it happens, just like I predicted on The Walking Dead, Paul Heyman is gonna turn on Brock Lesnar. He's gonna hit him in the back of the head with like a chair or like something like something, and then it's gonna and then Daniel Bryan's gonna give him like that running knee, and then pin him, and it's gonna be like, oh my fucking god, what happened here? And then all of a sudden Paul Heyman's gonna be like, because Brock Lesnar's going to the UFC again, so he's leaving. So this little run with he's doing is gonna be like and I think either I don't know if the match is for the titles or if it's just
no, it's just kind of like a bragging rights thing.
Yeah. So I'm thinking either maybe like Paul Heyman's gonna turn on Brock Lesnar because there's I don't know if they kind of hinted towards it where Brock Lesnar's been kind of like I don't need you, Paul Heyman. I don't know. He's been kind of like
they kind of hinted it last time whenever Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar were going to go against each other, and then it never happened. So.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that's going to happen. That's my prediction. Paul Heyman's going to turn, and then all of a sudden it's going to be like, what? Daniel Bryan, the biggest face in the fucking world, is a Paul Heyman guy, and it's going to be like, we didn't. Yeah, I think that's going to be refreshing. That's going to be on par with the whole Hulk Hogan turning heel in WCW when he turned on Randy Savage and became the third member of the NWO, brother. So this is like, oh my god, Daniel Bryan, the yes is gonna be a Paul Heyman guy.
I think one of two things is gonna happen. It's either gonna be a repeat of AJ and Brock Lesnar last year, or Braun Strowman or AJ Styles is going to get involved in some way, which would probably kind of be shitty because it's probably going to be like a good back and forth match. Hopefully it is.
Well, see, what I'm thinking. The reason I'm going with my theory is because the whole fact Daniel Bryan won the title on a house show on SmackDown. So I'm thinking the WWE knows that they're getting the ratings are declining. They're getting people like because it's like
it'd be a good way to boost SmackDown's ratings.
Yeah, because right now it's almost like you can set your watch to it. Okay, it's AJ Styles versus this is gonna like we just described it right now. Oh, Brock Lesnar's gonna come out, and then this person's gonna come out, and then this is gonna happen, and then sure enough you watch it and it's the exact layout. Oh, like this happened. Like every fucking pay-per-view this happens, and this guy gets screwed out. Oh, then they meet up on Raw. They have a fucking a four-way title, a four-way tag team match between whatever, and then there's somewhere down the line there's a fatal four-way, and then this person, and it's like the same fucking routine all over and over again. So I'm thinking, they're like, we got to shake it up. We got to do things that aren't predictable, because right now, like I said, you can set your watch to it and be like, okay, this is gonna happen. They're going to drop the belt to this person. This person's going to do this person's going to do that. This person's going to win. This person's probably going to lose and then come back next year. And then, oh, my God.
It's going to be interesting to see where they take AJ from there. Because he's had the title, for a year almost?
I think they didn't want him to lose to Brock Lesnar again. Because, I think they wanted to say, okay, well, if he loses to Daniel Bryan, that was an upset.
Because the first time it was like, oh, AJ almost beat Brock Lesnar. He almost made him tap out, and they didn't want the same story to play out again.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, well, we'll switch the belt and have Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar instead.
So with this one, you can have, Daniel Bryan being like, oh, I'm the best in the world or whatever, the best, wrestler and whatever, against the phenomenal one. You know what I mean? They could be that whole two masters of the ring going together. Oh, the phenomenal one is, the greatest wrestler of our generation, and it's to be, oh no, but Daniel Bryan is, he went from this to winning the title and being retired where he couldn't wrestle anymore, and miraculously he came back and won the title again, and like that whole storyline, is just beginning. So because at some point AJ Styles is going to try to get his title back, and so then they can build on that feud and be like, okay, well, and AJ Styles got screwed out again at this pay-per-view, and at the Royal Rumble it's going to be AJ against Daniel Bryan. He gets screwed out again, and then all of a sudden, it's whatever pay-per-views between the Royal Rumble and the WrestleMania, and it's like, oh my God, they're going to do it again, and then all of a sudden it's going to be, they're going to meet at WrestleMania. It's Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles and a big old.
I think the way it's gonna play out, maybe it's gonna be like AJ like trying to get back to the top, but he's gonna keep on like maybe losing matches or something.
Yeah, because
they're gonna have
him get more of a struggle to get back to
They're gonna have Andrade Cien or maybe some NXT guys. Maybe they get called up and go to SmackDown. Maybe we'll see like Daniel Bryan versus like I don't know, like someone like Adam Cole or something,
or Elias.
Yeah, maybe they push Elias. Is he's on SmackDown, right?
I thought he was on Raw.
On Raw. Who right now? Who's on SmackDown that could probably give him a good match? Maybe The Miz, maybe.
The Miz, yeah. I'm pissed that they didn't do anything with Shinsuke. I thought for sure he would at least get one title.
Yeah. Run. What if they have Daniel Bryan versus Shinsuke for the title? I don't know. It just brings up a whole like new.
Daniel Bryan, I'm gonna beat you for a title.
What if we have a AJ heel turn? I don't know. Like it brings up a whole bunch of new possibilities. Yeah. At first, when I heard about Daniel Bryan becoming new champion, I was kind of pissed because like, oh, AJ's had it for so long. He's a face that runs the place, but it just brings a whole bunch of new possibilities having Daniel Bryan as a champion.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole Becky Lynch thing. I don't know if you heard.
No, I didn't hear.
Like I think like the day before or something, she had led a SmackDown invasion against Raw. I don't know if you know like the Survivor Series. They usually have like Raw invades SmackDown or SmackDown invades Raw, but this time they had all the SmackDown women. They invaded Raw, and Becky Lynch led that whole thing. Like at the beginning, you see Becky Lynch giving Ronda Rousey to disarm her in the locker room or whatever, and then it cuts to that. It cuts to like all the SmackDown women come in the ring and like jump in the Raw ladies. Then you see Becky Lynch go into the ring, and then I guess at one point she gets punched in the face by a big old Nia Jax. That big old girl.
Thicker than a Snicker.
If it wasn't for The Rock, like she would have probably been like not fired, but like she would have got like in like a lot of trouble.
Yeah, she's an advocate for big boned girls.
Anyways, like and like she got injured or whatever, like her nose got broken. So now it's apparently going to be Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series, which is kind of disappointing because I wanted to see Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey, but at the same time, it's kind of good because if you had Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey, I can probably guess that Ronda Rousey would have won. Or what do you think would have happened?
Yeah, they're doing this push with Ronda Rousey. I don't see her losing that much anytime soon because, she's the new addition on the block. They want to kind of push her and, not stop her.
I think she's good for ratings, if anything.
Yeah, she's good for ratings. I'm not a big fan of Ronda Rousey. I'm going to throw it out there. And everybody's like, oh, Ronda Rousey's coming. I was like, okay, cool. And they're like, aren't you excited, Ronda Rousey? I'm like, Ronda, say that 5 times fast. Ronda Rousey.
I'm more interested in Becky Lynch, like
the little ass killer.
Yeah, because like for a while they weren't using her. They were like having her job to like all the other ladies, and then like I don't know where they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna make her a heel or try to make her heel and try to push her as a SmackDown's top heel or whatever. But that didn't work out. They just kind of made her like Stone Cold Steve Austin almost, like a badass kind of.
Yeah, I'm also kind of pissed off about Finn Balor a little bit. Like I liked him in NXT. Then I was like, oh cool, he's coming to the main roster, and He was here for a
I
week.
don't think is he even doing anything on Survivor Series.
I don't think so.
I think he probably has some like shitty like tag team match.
See, that's the problem with you get too many top guys at one point. You know what I mean? You
kind of don't have any room for them.
Yeah, because it's like before the whole leukemia thing, it was like, okay, we're gonna push Roman Reigns to get him to the top, and then it's like, oh, but then we we have to overlook other people like
Finn Balor.
Like Kevin Owens. I mean, remember when he first came out, he won the title, the Universal title. I mean, he was like, he beat John Cena in like his first match.
Like for a while, Samoa Joe was gonna be like the top guy, but he got injured.
Yeah, see, Samoa, that was another route to go. And then it's like, then
we SmackDown because they didn't have any room for him. But
then we got Finn Balor. That he's whatever. He made his return, and then it's like, okay, he feuded with Corbin.
Corbin Dallas.
I was gonna say Corbin Dallas.
Shout out to Majin Drew.
Yeah, what's his fucking name? Michael Corbin
or Baron Corbin.
Baron Corbin. Yeah, they had a feud with him where that was kind of like, eh.
Well, hopefully they changed things up with like the brand shakeup or whatever,
or at least give him a fucking Intercontinental title or U.S. title or something like that. And then same thing they did with Shinsuke. You know what I mean? I thought for sure he was gonna at least get like a small title run, at least a 3-month title run, like Jinder Mahal, and say, okay, well at least he held it for a few months, and then AJ won it back from him or something like that. Just like to say, hey, they did something with Shinsuke or whatever, and that didn't happen. They gave him the U.S. title, but I mean, yeah. And then the Miz is starting to make waves again, but then also Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, Drew McIntyre is gonna do big things right now. He's getting pushed pretty good at on Raw.
Which I'm a fan of his, so I'm hoping they do good shit with. I hope they don't drop the ball and fuck the shit up with him.
The chosen one.
The chosen one, he came back all buff and shit, and I like his new look. He looks badass,
Came back more Scottish. He's Scottish, right?
He's more Scottish. Yeah, he's Scottish. Oh yeah, that was Irish. Yeah.
Scottish or Irish?
He's Scottish. He talks like this. I'm Scottish. I'm gonna win the title, but. Yeah, so I don't know, man. There's a lot of too many Chiefs, not enough Indians. You know what I mean? So I mean that they don't know where to put the title. Their golden boy, he's got leukemia so he's out. Don't know if he's coming back. Kevin Owens, I don't even know if he's still around anymore.
I think he got injured. And I don't know when his recovery date is. So
one person I'm not a fan of, Sami Zayn. I'm sorry. I know people are like, oh my god,
he got injured as well.
Yeah. And then Braun Strowman, I heard the reason why they haven't pushed him. Well, they started pushing him, and then they kind of held back. I heard he got in some hot water with the company where he would show up late or not show up at all.
Show up late, or like also, I guess his persona, like I guess they want everybody to like keep their personas online and whatnot.
Yeah.
And he's known for like, I don't know, like dressing up as Wonder Woman. I don't know. Have you seen that picture? Like breaking character all the time.
Yeah. So they want to keep that kayfabe, where I'm the monster among men. Then you see him like, well, see, I don't get how they want to keep that, but then they'll have like ride along where then you have like bad guys that are feuding, like in the same car, and it's all like. And then they're kind of like saying, oh, yeah, me and, Bobby Roode and this person were just fought, that night, have a feud, and yet they're driving to the next fucking town together. And it's like, hey, man, stop at Wendy's and get some fries and shit. It's like.
Step at the Megaplex.
Yeah, like there's one where Braun Strowman's riding with Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
And he's all like flirting with her and kind of like, or trying to be flirty. And she's kind of like, just.
Dude, that's a good. That's a good tape I would want to see.
Yeah.
WWE, get on that.
Yeah. Yes.
You have any other news to discuss?
Stanley's dead, but at least we still got Bowie. So I mean,
this episode is going to be dedicated to Stan Lee. Rest in peace. 60 something to 2018.
I don't know. He was born in like the fucking
40s,
30s or 40s. Yeah, he's old. No. I think he was born in the fucking 20s because my grandfather's in his 80, like almost 90, and he was born in 27. So he has to be like fucking 1918 or some shit, you know. When I was a kid, we had a horse and carriage. You know? Electricity was in the horizon. But anyway, yeah, I'm tapped out with stuff. But yeah, so I mean, like I said, I'll get more information on the book, and we're gonna have a contest at some point once I get it all ironed out to get a free copy. So one of our adoring fans, there's got to be some of you out there,
Mom, Dad,
Donald
and then,
Trump.
We'll bring you probably like a review of Survivor Series, maybe.
Yeah, I don't have the W network anymore. I gave it up because it was either between that and my Cinemark movie club membership. Cinemark, you see that? Go to the South Park Meadows shopping centers, the Cinemark theaters, and sign up for the movie club. It's only $8.99 a month. You get 20% off of concession stands. You get a free ticket every month. The luxury seats are like $11.99 plus tax. You get them for $8. I mean,
it's not a paid endorsement or anything.
Yeah.
It's just like
it's not.
We go to the movies all the time, so it's like convenient for us. Like,
yeah, so I mean, it works for us because we go all the time to watch the movies, to do reviews for you guys. So, we're hoping that our reviews will, either encourage you to go watch the movie, or if it's a movie we hate, you can be like, okay, well, you were warned, it was bad. Justin Bieber as
Justin Bieber, that's the Joker.
Yeah. Fuck
this
shit.
Summer.
I would slit my wrist if that ever happened. Fuck that. I wouldn't. I would burn down shit. I would go on a tirade. But anyway, guys, subscribe, like us, please. Like I said, if you don't subscribe and like us, a puppy will die somewhere in the world. So I mean, don't want that on your conscience. Don't kill puppies. Actually, there's some coworkers of mine that would probably eat the puppies. But anyway, that's a whole different ball of wax. But thank you guys. Have a good night. I'm Jonny Death.
This is Eddie Gein.
And remember,
sometimes death is better. Rest in peace, Stan Lee.
Rest in peace, Stan Lee. I don't think he agrees with the death is better, but